Hello, I'm OBX2Cat, and welcome back to another second channel video. Today I have another episode of Why It Sucks. This is a series where I talk about bad cards in Hearthstone and kind of analyze for you why they're bad so you can learn about why you shouldn't use them and maybe learn a lesson or two about Hearthstone in the meantime. And at the very least, it means I get to be angry at cards and the decisions made by Blizzard, because this one isn't just me that's angry at this decision. Basically, a lot of people are very upset that they basically have ruined the Warsong Commander. They took the card on the left here, the golden one, which I made just to, show that it's the better one. They made it, a card that's really situational as it is, into a card that's situational and bad, and just better, just worse than another card in almost every single way. And I figured I'd talk about exactly, why the new one's so awful, because the thing is, to a new player, this card on the right here actually seems better than the card on the left, because +1 attack, that means you can do some extra damage, right? But, the reality is, it's not like that, and I'll be explaining why with today's video. So please do like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel. Lets me know you do like it. I want to see more of this stuff. But let's get straight into the video by talking about the old Warsong Commander. So this is the old one, the one that existed up to a few days ago, but even before that, there was a Warsong Commander which gave all your minions charge. So if you played down any minion, it would get charged. So if you played down a Molten Giant, for instance, you could get charged on that. And I believe they had to fix it for that reason, because you could keep sending them back to your hand, and you could get like 16 damage in a turn. That's broken. So they made this Warsong Commander. This was, sorry, it's mirrored, so this is my left. But this Warsong Commander. So yeah, this Warsong Commander was really situational and didn't see use until the Grim Patron came out. And the thing is, the reason it was situational, the reason just giving any minion less than 3 attack charge is because charge is kind of powerful to some extent, but this card needs to stay alive for that to be a good effect. So this card is only really useful if you can play this on the same turn as that minion, and with most minions that's not too valuable. And that's why Grim Patron was so useful, because you wanted to give that charge so you could charge it into something and then summon more and then keep on sending those new Grim Patrons and stuff. And if you combine that with all the extra effects you get, you can do awesome stuff, and it made one of the most powerful decks in the game. I know they needed to nerf this card, they couldn't leave it how it was, but the card they made as a result, because they wanted to keep the spirit of the card, is just bizarre, because this card is, it seems like a reasonable compromise for the split second where you're like, oh, well, I guess you can make like a 4-1 raid, you can make a 2-1 boar, which means you can play this on turn 4, you can play this and then get a charge minion outfit, and then you've still got the 2-3 body. But the reality behind why this card is so bad is because we already had a card like this that's better in every way besides one, and that is the health. So to explain why this card is never going to see play in any realistic deck, I think we should first explain why 2 health and 3 health are roughly the same value. Because when you have a 2-drop, it can either be a 2-3 or a 3-2, most of the time, if we exclude like Millhouse Manastone. The reason that you want the 3-2 is because most things that die to 2 damage die to the 3 damage as well. So, like Dark Bomb, like Quick Shot, like loads of classes have 3 damage and 1 damage. 2 damage isn't really that common, besides like the weird there are sources of 2 damage, but it's not quite so common, and that basically means you want a 3-2, not a 2-3, because then you can also trade it with a 4-drop, and that's why this 2-3 stat line is not really so great, or either 2-3 stat line, it's not so great. And because they wanted to keep that 2-3 stat line, it means that basically on turn 3 you're playing a worse 2-drop, so you're playing a turn behind to be ready for the next turn. But the thing is, because you're playing such a bad card, unless they have nothing on the board and no way of dealing 3 damage, this card is just going to die instantly, and then you're going to have wasted 3 mana hoping to build on something that you won't be able to build on, and it just won't go anywhere. So the only way to play this card and have it be good is to, play this card and then play the charge minion on the same turn as it. And the reason that makes the raid leader infinitely better is because this covers every minion. So the cool thing about the raid leader is if it stays alive, which, it's unlikely to, but it's just as likely to as the Warsong Commander, it does the exact same effect when it comes to giving your charge minions extra attack, because it's all minions. But then if you keep any minions around after that, it's going to last. Because the thing is, 95% of the minions in the game don't have charge. So the card on the left here covers 100% of minions, the card on the right covers 5% of minions, and in exchange it gets 1 health point. That just in that stat line, it makes no sense. If the Warsong Commander was a 2-5 all of a sudden, maybe it's a viable card. If it's to 2-4, I could even argue that. But as a 2-3, it just dies so fast, and you're just not going to be able to get anything amazing off. if you save this till turn 10 and then just charge everything at them, why not use the raid leader? The only situation I can conceivably see this being used in is if you've used 2 raid leaders in your deck, but you want more burst damage of your charge minions, and you're gonna, you lower the cost of them with Emperor Thracian, and you're like, let's put 2 raid leaders in there. That way, and then we have 2 Warsong Commanders. That way, we have double the chance of drawing it. That's the only situation I can see this being as. A slightly worse raid leader. If you only have charge minions, it's just a raid leader with 1 extra health, and that's never gonna happen. In any other situation, it's a slightly worse raid leader that you just hope you don't have the non-charge minions, and it just seems really, really garbage. So yeah, to kind of summarize why the new Warsong Commander is bad, basically it's a bad 2-drop with an effect that's just a worse version of an existing effect that wasn't very good anyway. No one plays the raid leader anyway. And it also, it doesn't work, so there's 2 ways to play a card. There's on curve and off curve. On curve, this card sucks, because you won't want to play a charge minion on turn 4. You might as well just play a better free drop. And off curve, if you're playing this on turn 10, it sucks because you might as well play the other one, and you can't play lots of copies of both and still have the same effect. So yeah, that's kind of my summary here. I think the card sucks. The one viable situation is if you have 2 raid leaders and you want more raid leaders, except your deck is already, you have mostly charged minions, and you really need a 3rd or 4th raid leader, then the Warsong Commander is a bad raid leader, and if you're willing to make that compromise, then yeah. But given that the raid leader doesn't really see play because it's bad enough, then it's just bad. You're not going to see this card. Even if it was +2 attack, it would still be kind of questionable, and it's just not. So that's why the new Warsong Commander sucks. I wish they'd done something else with it. If I was to suggest what they could do with it instead, it would be something like, I don't know, give a friendly minion charge or something, so that way it can only be done once, and it's kind of a battle cry effect. Just something like that, or give it more stats, or do something to it. Just don't leave it how it is. I think the old one could have been, maybe done so. I just think there are better ways to fix this, what I'm saying here. Also, that animation distracts me every time because I love the gold card. A little bit of an upgrade to the Why It Sucks ship. So yeah, I think I've gone through all the reasons why the card sucks. On curve sucks, off curve sucks, stats suck, effect sucks. That's all the parts of the card, and they all suck. So thank you all for watching. I hope you did all enjoy it. Like it if you like it, share it if you really liked it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.